So RapidLCA is a web app, progressive web app. So it's available on any browser, any modern browser. Just navigate to rapidlca.app. I'm just going to turn my camera off here. Whoops. So you can see the full thing, full screen. It's also available on mobile. You can, I guess, pin it to your home screen to use as an app on your phone. This is what it looks like on a phone, and we deliberately did that to make sure that this thing is accessible. Low carbon design is accessible to anybody, anywhere, at any time. And this homepage of the app is part of that as well. This is a low carbon design feature feed, so you'll be able to feature your designs on the app, and this is going to inspire other people, to see that low carbon design is possible, and it's actually pretty normal too. It's not something that's too far reaching. So the demo I'm going to do is going to be quite quick today. So what I did there was just click the Add New Build button at the bottom of the home screen. At some point, the app's going to ask you to register. There are certain things that you can do without registering, like see that feed screen, but it'll ask you to register, which is pretty straightforward. But once you're registered, you can add a build and then search for your suburb. In this case, I said Canberra. And then it'll give you information about, once you've selected the Canberra Low Carbon Housing Challenge space, it'll give you information about the project. We're looking at two metrics here. One is a life cycle reduction in global warming potential, and we've set a target of 33% for that one. But if you don't meet that target, you can still submit to the competition. That's fine. It is about showcasing all designs, and there's also the other one we're just tracking. There's no target for this, but we're looking at a life cycle global warming potential, and we're excluding on-site renewable generation. So that's both the embodied and the operational impacts of that, just to see what with and without solar, basically solar is going to be the most common on-site renewable generation looks like. But I'll create my lot in here. And I'm just going to give it a non-existent address here, which may actually be existent. And then a description, you can obviously elaborate on that. And what it's doing now is loading up the baseline design, which is the design that the competition administrators and eTool derived, which is meant to represent business as usual housing in Canberra. So that's your starting point, and from there you can customize this and make it reflect your own design. So I can add a little picture up in the top left there, and then I can start customizing the design. So I'm going to say this is a dual key residence with a granny flat type thing, and sort of partition granny flat, and also a 3-bedroom dwelling, so 4 bedrooms altogether. And we'll say it's got 3 bathrooms, say 3 car parks under carports, and we'll say it's double story. We might give it slightly higher ceilings, and maybe it's really spatially efficient, so, well, for Australia at least, and we'll say there's a 50 metres squared for the flat and 150 square metres for the dwelling. I won't go into detail with all these configuration items. Some of them, say for example the gross floor area, you'll get some little help on the page. Some of them, like this one, for example, energy monitoring, there'll be an information icon over here, and it'll give you a detailed description of what that means and how you should set it. You can change the star rating of the dwelling here, and then once you've finished configuring these, you can customize other elements of the design, which is more on the component level. For example, we can change this to an all electric house, for example, by swapping out the gas stove with an induction stove, and maybe we'll go like a CO2 heat pump, so low carbon refrigerant and high efficiency. And I could keep changing this. I won't customize it much further. One thing I will put in there is some solar PV, so we can see the difference between the results with and without the PV, just so we can demo that. And I would like to make some changes to the materials. For example, maybe I'll change the PVC windows out to a timber double glazed window, and I might change the quantity of those windows as well. And what I can do here is actually switch off the automatic scaling. So if I was to leave this so that it's automatically scaling and go back and make a change to the gross floor area, it'll scale these areas. So you can toggle that. I think the expectation from the competition administrators is that as architects we should be customizing all these quantities. But if you're using this at brief stage outside the competition, absolutely there's no need to customize initially. The app does estimate the quantities initially. Sorry about the dogs having some fun in the background there. Then there's the I could change floor finishes, for example. I might make some more changes, to the structure. I might just change the, say for example, the external walls. Maybe we'll go for a reverse brick veneer wall. So we have actually have two wall entries here for the external wall. This one's like an upper floor wall, I guess in this case, but I'm going to change them both out with reverse brick veneer. And I might just change some of the floor finishes as well. Oop. Might go with a polished concrete. And that's it for the initial assessment. If I was doing this during a design process, I'd obviously be looking at these results and trying to understand where the results are. So at this point, it would ask you to pay normally, and then we can look at the results in different ways. So what's driving the energy, what's driving the material impacts, what life cycle phase is the largest impacts, and then we can actually we can click through on things like that. So for example, if I looked at the energy and I can see here that HVAC is pretty high, I can click through and see the components that are driving that, and we could maybe swap that out and say, well, let's do ceiling fans for the cooling, and we might go a pellet heater for the heating, so biomass, which is lower carbon than predominantly coal-fired power on the national energy market there. And then we should see some kind of further reduction in the impacts associated with the design. We can see here the difference between the total life cycle reduction and the life cycle reduction without the solar panel. And at this point, if the design's reflecting what we want to submit, we can submit that. During the competition, it will actually ask you to upload some documents here as well, the competition documents. And then we can share the design as well. There will be an ability to share, to create a sort of shareable link, which is a summary of the design, and share that on social platforms. Also, you'll be able to generate reports and send those as well. The life cycle assessment reports, the other report is a very detailed one. This is more of a summary report, somewhat useful for you to communicate the results to a client, and this is definitely something that the judges will be looking at as well. I think this summary report, all these yellow items, highlighted items, are the elements that we changed, or the components that we changed. So either the quantities or the the actual component that we selected. So that's about it for the initial demo. There'll be more information on the website that you can get a lot more detail on, and support resources as well in terms of who to contact if you need support.